Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Tori, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. Today we are going to be judging if men's actions were justified or if the men are just back at it again. Of course, this is all just like silly, goofy fun, of course. Like, I did this video a couple times previously, and every single time you guys have loved it. You just love talking about men having audacity. So that's what we're going to be doing. Before I jump in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, whatever the term is for engagement on whatever platform you are currently listening or watching on. Takes less than a second, means the absolute world to me. And like, I genuinely cannot express how much it means. Like, it is helping me reach like my literal dream in life. Wow, words are hard. And yeah, it would just mean the absolute world. So if you're on YouTube and you could hit that hype button as well, it's only available for the first week, but it helps more people find my channel. So yeah, if you're a storytime person, you're a nosy bystander, you like seeing things, hearing about them, not being involved in them, you're in the right place. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into our first story. I'm Grace Tori, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. P.S. Before we actually jump in, I forgot to mention, all of these are from Best of Redditor updates, so there will be an update, some sort of conclusion. I never do any single story without an update or a conclusion. There may be like one or two in the past, but I can't sleep at night if I don't know how it ends. I know you guys are the same way, so all of these will have updates and be in Best of Redditor updates, and will also be linked in the description if you want to check them out for yourself. Okay, apparently I sliced my finger open. Don't know when I did that. All right. Anyway, my boyfriend just got an email confirmation from Bumble. What do I do? Now, keep in mind, guys, we're judging on if these actions were justified or if the men are at it again. So we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt until proven guilty. Original post is from January 11th, 2020. I was with him just last night and things seemed fine. I met his mom last week. I don't know what to do. Do I bring it up? Do I wait for something to happen? I found out because I'm on his desktop printing things, and I guess he signed up on his phone. Yeah, in my opinion, that's not something you wait to see what happens. It could be, this was 2020, so I'm not sure if like the best friend thing on Bumble was set up yet. Like, I've honestly thought about getting that just because making friends is so hard. But then there's the dating side of it, and it just takes like a lot of trust. And I don't know, like, I'm back and forth. Like, for me, it wouldn't be an issue if my boyfriend got like the best friend Bumble thing, but I can see how it could be an issue for other people. It's hard because if you bring it up to him, is he gonna like freak out and deny, and then delete everything? Or, but also like going through his phone is like a privacy issue. I would probably just go through his phone, honestly, because I feel like a conversation more often than not doesn't help when someone's cheating. You just kind of have to catch them. 'Cause, you know, he's just gonna like gaslight, girl boss, gatekeep, and then you're not gonna know. Like, it's just, yeah. So I probably would go through his phone. Like, you have a valid reason to. It's like a violation of privacy, but I feel like there's just no other good way in these situations. There is an edit. It says, I'm signing up for Bumble to see if I can match with him. If he responds, then I approve he's up to no good. Any downsides to Plan Bumble? He deleted the confirmation email. Oh, he's definitely up to no good if he deleted the confirmation email. The only downside I see to Plan Bumble is if you see one of his friends or one of his friends see you, and then he then can turn around and say, what are you doing on Bumble? Like, my friend saw you on there. But other than that, I think that this is actually a pretty common thing that a lot of people do when they catch like their significant other on there. I usually ask my single friends to keep an eye out, and that is enough for me. Like, I've been in this situation a million times. I've only been in this situation like once, like over half a decade ago. But that's what I did, is my single friends were on the case. Relevant comments. As a note, Bumble has a mode called Bumble BFF for finding platonic friends. You should make sure he's not using that before jumping to conclusions. Okay, that's my thought. But if he deleted it, I feel like that like kind of takes away that, because if he didn't think he was doing anything wrong, he wouldn't have deleted it. Someone responded to that and said, I think if he's using it for friends only, he should have given her a heads up communication. That's my thought, is like some people aren't okay with it. Agreed. The fact that he deleted the confirmation email is suspicious. Okay, me and Reddit, we like this. We on the same page. Someone else commented, their username is actually Taco Taco Time. Love that for you. I just went through something similar. Different app, but you could create a profile and just keep swiping left until you find him. Mine had the audacity to say that it was his profile, but it wasn't him replying to me. Just use a pic that he won't know is you. Hat, sunglasses, different angle, and different name. Oh, that's true. You don't have to. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Normally, I wouldn't condone doing that, but given the fact that if cheating, they will often lie and you get suckered back in, it's better to be safe than sorry. Then again, this is fresh for me and I'm still a little jaded, so if he hasn't given you any other reason to think he's doing something wrong, just ask. Oh, OP did respond and say, I actually did this and I found him. Ooh, okay. So here's the update from 3 days later. What I did next. I called my roommate, who is very experienced with Tinder, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, OkCupid, all of the dating apps, basically. She's been in the dating world a lot, and we've supported each other through ups and downs. So I call my roommate, explain the situation. She's been seeing a guy for 1 to 2 months and hasn't been active. My superhero roommate drives to his workplace, sets the distance range to 1 to 2 kilometers on Bumble, and keeps swiping. I did the same, but from my own location. I set up a fake profile of a cute Asian girl named Kim who likes movies. She finds him in 20 swipes. I find him in about 60 to 70, presumably because I was farther away. His whole profile is there. Ooh, no, he's doing it with his whole chest. Honestly, though, if you're gonna do questionable things, like I always say this, if you're gonna like screw someone over, stab them in the back, be a generally bad person, like shitty person, do it with your whole chest. So I kind of appreciate that he's doing it with his whole chest. We'll see if he keeps up that energy when he's caught. But if you're gonna be a bad person, might as well go all the way. Like, damn, I hate when people try to deny it. There's no denying it here, though. His whole profile is there. Some cheesy line saying he's looking for someone special to laugh with. There were pictures that he sent me as he was away that were on there. For example, his family dog when he visited his family for the holidays that I specifically asked for. That disgusted me. So I swipe whatever direction yes was. I message hi. He responds an hour or two later with, Hi Kim, how's your day going? Seen any good movies lately? By the way, no one involved in this is actually named Kim. It's 100% a fake name for the profile I made. I was still at his place when I found out. So I collected my things and left. There are so many BS excuses for him in the comments. Bumble's for more than just dating. There's networking and friendship building too. Nope, he was on the dating side. Maybe he was signed up before and there was a confusion in emails or spam from Bumble. Then why is he active on it? Very valid points. I don't think the email confirmation would have been an issue on Bumble's part. Like that seemed, I've never in my life of all of the social media I'm on, all of the chronically online issues that I find myself in, never once have I gotten an email with an email confirmation unless it was like someone trying to steal my identity or whatever, like 100% spam. And I think she would be able to very quickly tell the difference if that were the case. The bottom line is I'm not okay dating someone on dating sites. You shouldn't be. I was waiting for him to message me because we had loose plans to hang out. Eventually, I got tired of waiting and texted him. I felt silly waiting for someone to text me to break up with them. I texted him when he texted the fake profile. I sent him a video scrolling through the text exchange with my roommate, so I didn't have to type it all out to explain that I knew he was on Bumble trying to meet people. Okay, so this is a transcript of the text. I'll also try and put them next to me if you're like not like you're listening while you clean or you're on a platform where you can't watch. So just a heads up, that will be there, but I will also read them. So X says, give him cuddles for me, talking to the girlfriend over text. It was in relation to something else. The girlfriend said, Hi, Kim, how's your day going? Seen any good movies lately? And then sent like a video of all of the texts between her and her friend and said, so obviously we're broken up. And then the boyfriend said, actually, I had a feeling you were doing something like that. The girlfriend said, I forgot my Scrabble board at your place. I'm going to see if blank can meet up with you to pick it up. X responded, that literally went up today. You have access to all my stuff. I know that. Girlfriend said, who do you want to meet up with for the Scrabble board? And the ex said, no one, because I promised it wasn't anything. Girlfriend, I'm not okay dating someone on dating sites. I'm not going to keep calling her girlfriend. I'll call her OP because she's not the girlfriend. X, I just wanted someone to talk to. I would never have actually gone. Ugh, barf. You have a whole girlfriend that you can talk to. OP says, if you don't pick someone, I'm asking blank because she lives close by. And then they said, OP's name, please, I'm sorry. Said their name again. I'm assuming it's blacked out. And then said, it's honestly never a physical dating. And it has only happened a couple times. I promise. Please don't do this. It was stupid, I know. It was kind of like corn, but more of just an online thing. Okay, that didn't come out right. I promise it'll never happen again. Please say something. I know I effed up. Please, I do love you. And then OP said, so I blank. I forgot anything else. Just give it to her. I'm done. That's it. And then X said, please don't do this. They tried to call, and then they said, I know you're not going to answer. I'm so sorry. That really wasn't anything more than virtually poking around. A guilty pleasure. Oh, no. It's only ever happened a couple times, once way early. I promise it's never pics. It was stupid, but I would never have cheated. No, cheated, bro. There is no cheated versus cheated. It's all cheating. I can't. This man is the worst. Okay. If you can find in you to forgive me, I promise it will never happen again. You'll have full transparency on everything of mine. I'm so sorry. I'm such an idiot. I do love you, blank, but I'll respect your decision. ... Sad face. I'll give you the board, blank. Is there anything else I can do? OP said, not really. I don't trust you, so there's no point. And then X said, blank, I really effed up. I promise you there was nothing else there. I will spend my life making it up to you. Babe, it was never more than virtual. I can show you my phone. That's the only proof I have. I know it's not a very good proof, but it's all I have. Blank, I can't lose you. I'm so sorry. Please believe me. I'm such an idiot. I'm sorry. I won't press you anymore. Please believe how sorry I am, though, how foolish I am. I know there's nothing I can say to undo the wrong, but if there's anything you ever need, I'm here. I'll never hurt you again. That's a promise. Goodbye, sweet girl. And then he keeps going. Dude, this is where it gets, like, deranged. Like, don't blow up people's phone after you break up. That's just, like, obviously, they made a decision. You need to respect that decision. But don't say goodbye, sweet girl, and then keep going. Ew. Anyway, they keep going. This is what they say. I want you to know I could see myself building a life with you. I could see myself blank a home. I know I don't deserve any forgiveness from you now. I just want you to know that that part is true. Okay, goodbye. Please give me a chance to fix this. Do you love me even a little? If so, please. And then OP said, stop texting me and stop trying to contact me in other ways. Otherwise, I'm going to block you. And then they said, okay, with a sad face. So I'm guessing that okay was the last thing they said and that actually worked. Yeah, throw the whole man away. Ew, we don't want him anywhere close to us. No, this is, ew. Men are the worst. This is perfect example of a man with audacity. Then he gets caught. All the audacity till he gets caught. Let's keep reading, though. There's more. After that, I went to sleep and woke up to 5 to 6 more paragraphs of text explaining that he loved me, he was sorry, and they took for granted that he was with me. At this point, since I was feeling a little more confident in my choice to break up, I explained to him my thoughts on the situation. I wouldn't have even done that. Like, dude, no means no. Go away. So there are bullet points. These are the thoughts in bullet points. 1, if he had found me on Tinder trying to get attention from guys but not meet up, there's no way he would believe me. 2, he said he loved me for the first time over text to repair things. I told him it was manipulative. That was the first time he'd ever, this man. 3, I said that even if he was just on there for a confidence boost, that's not okay in a monogamous relationship. There are plenty of other ways to get a confidence boost that don't involve the appearance of cheating. Even if I were to grant he hadn't cheated or hadn't tried to, that doesn't make being on a dating app or website okay. 4? We're on 4? Yeah. Some other personal stuff, I need to leave that out. 5, I explained that even though he was willing to have an open phone/tech whatever policy to build trust, that it was fundamentally unfair to him to impose that responsibility on me. Why is my responsibility to build trust by monitoring his phone like a psychotic person? Neither of us actually want a relationship that looks like that. That's so true. Like, all he's doing is putting more responsibility on you to check him when he should have just never done it in the first place. Like, that's more on your mental load. And as I've gotten older, that's something I've really realized, like, you don't really think about it when you're younger or talk about it, but putting more of a mental load on someone, like more responsibility that's going to weigh into their mental capacity, is not nice. Like, so many, specifically women do it too, but I've seen it happen with a lot of husbands where they just put all of the responsibility on the wife and like they don't think there's anything wrong with that, but that mental load of like, yeah, I have to remind you to do things like take the trash out or whatever, like that is more of a mental load on me and it makes things harder for me. So like I just need you to take some of that off of me and do it yourself. So yeah. Ew. And then the last bullet point is I explained that I was replying so he understood that I was done with this. And then they quoted, there are billions of guys in the world and you're the only one who's been on a dating site talking to girls while we were together. Facts. There's so many fish in the sea. So we're broken up. A mutual friend is doing us the favor of helping to give each other our things back. He texted me again saying that he sees my points. It is unfair, but he still feels how he feels. Is it unfair? Does he think it's unfair on his part or on your part? Because I have thoughts on that. For the record, I think it was terrible advice to recommend talking to him. Talking only works if you already trust them, and receiving a confirmation you built from a dating site is a reasonable explanation for trust to be broken. If I had talked to him instead of signing up for Bumble myself with a fake profile, then I would have had to just take his word for it, and I would have been someone dating a person who was swiping other girls and chatting to them. That's why I said I don't think communication would work here. Like, I think that honestly, going on the dating site or finding someone else to do it or like going through their phone and getting that proof for yourself is the only way to do it, because you can't trust that he's not gonna gaslight you or just have excuses ready. Like, if he went through the trouble of doing this, obviously he got caught with the confirmation email, so he's not very good at it. But you would think he had like an excuse ready for when you do find out, if you ever did in his mind. I took the situation into my own hands. My perspective on cheating is that we're all capable of it, put into the right situation. Humans are more like each other than different, and the recipe for infidelity is not an impossibility, no matter who you are or who your partner is. Instead, I think the best way to prevent infidelity is to prevent yourself from putting yourself in a situation where it's likely to occur. Don't go to bars alone with your wedding ring off. Don't shamelessly flirt with people, and don't join dating websites, even if it's just for a confidence boost. Don't put yourself in a situation where you would be tempted to cheat, because it shows a willingness to cheat more than anything does outside of actually cheating. I agree. Like, I think that everyone under the right circumstances may be tempted to cheat. And I think that putting yourself in those circumstances, knowing that it could tempt you, is playing a dangerous game. So, yeah, I just like try to, if there's like even a possibility, like, I try to stay away. Obviously, everybody's different. I'm not saying you're right or wrong because you choose to be in these situations. Just for me, I personally believe, like, if you're going with your wedding ring off to a bar, like, what is the reason? Like, if there's a good reason, okay. If you don't have a reason, then why do it? Don't shamelessly flirt with people. I agree. Some people consider that to be fully cheating. Don't join dating websites. I think that's cheating, even if it's just like a confidence boost. Like, don't put yourself in situation with single women that you know are trying to like actively get with you. Like, why would you even put yourself in that situation, you know? I don't know. There are situations where I'm like, why would you even get in that? Like, it's not necessarily cheating, but it's making it way easier to. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of ranting. At the end of the day, a lot of it's going to come down to your own self-discipline and responsibility. But for me, unless there's a really, really good reason, which there very rarely is a good reason, I just don't see why you would put yourself in those positions. But there's more, so we're going to keep going. And I only know what he told me. Despite the nice things he said to try to get me back, maybe he has cheated on me. Maybe he's been on Tinder all along, trying to sleep with people, but failed and tried Bumble. And in order for me to talk to him, he would have had to swipe yes. And since my profile was so bland, he was probably swiping yes on a lot of other women. I don't have a lot of people in my life, not many friendships, so it was really hard to stonewall when he was saying how much he cared. I had great people around me, my brother and sister, my mom, and of course my fabulous roommate who played Supergirl here as far as I'm concerned. I had reservations about him. I actually came to this subreddit before, specifically because I don't have a lot of friends to talk to, so Reddit often acts as therapy or part of the processing process when I have a problem. Often the advice is terrible, sometimes it's decent. If you get good advice at all, usually you get one or two really supportive people who deeply consider both sides. But the reservations weren't bad ones. Bad time management, lack of communicating, we talked and things got better. Last week, I met his family. 2 days ago, he cleared another drawer in a kitchen cabinet for me so he could convince me to stay over more. He made plans for us to go away for a weekend next month. Even though we had previous problems, things were looking good, and I had no idea to suspect he was cheating. So that's it. We're done. My family has taken care of me for the weekend, which was nice. I'm not going to be dating for a while. I wrote all that as of Sunday night, I believe. Because of the 48-hour rule in the subreddit, I needed to post again now to make it visible. Since Sunday, I've been bombarded by my ex to give him another chance. He keeps saying how he loves me and how sorry he is. Girl, don't let him do that. Eventually, you can do a restraining order. Like, if he won't leave you alone after you say no, that's harassment, even if it's over text. I know this was in 2020, but that's when I got my restraining order. So, yeah, definitely it's okay. Like, if they're not respecting, it's okay to push harder boundaries. I know for me, I didn't block because I knew that he would reach out to like my family members. If I blocked and I didn't want it to be a burden on them because like I wasn't home, like I was in college, so I lived an hour away. I couldn't like make sure that that wasn't happening and I could see my family putting up with it just to not tell me and worry me and then would have made things worse. So that's why I didn't block, but this is still harassment even if you don't block them. Even if what he's saying is true, which I have no way of knowing, I don't trust him anymore. And what's a relationship without trust? He offered me full access to his technology, accounts, etc., but why is my job to repair trust by going through his things? Why is that my responsibility when I'm the loyal one here? That's fundamentally unfair to me, as is the rest. I didn't call him names, but I wanted to. I didn't say anything mean. I said I was hurt. I said I couldn't have him contacting as obsessively as he was. And I said it was best for both of us if I were to block him so we would both stop staring at our phones. I also hinted that if he were to try to contact me in other ways, I'd get others involved, which, in my opinion, is fair. It's harassment at that point. My advice to anyone in a similar situation: do you want it to be okay for your boyfriend to look for other girls? If you think this is acceptable, then you think it's okay for your friends and family to accidentally find his dating profile. I know he's got one foot out the door. There's a difference between being attracted to other people and putting yourself in a situation that makes you more likely to cheat, like being on a dating website or a hookup app. I can't tell you how to run your relationship. Maybe you like open relationships. That's none of my business. But for people who are fans of monogamy, just leave. Also, there is no point in communicating if you have good reasons not to trust the person you're communicating to or with. And that's it. Honestly, girl, you are a badass. Like, you handle business flawlessly. I am really proud of you. I know you said you're lonely and that made things harder, but I am so, so proud of you for putting your foot down and leaving this man, because he would have never stopped. Like, ew, there are some things where if men act up and like you're dating or whatever, it's like, oh, okay, like let's give him another chance. Cheating is not one of them. His excuses were BS. Like, he was lonely. Okay, you were lonely too. Why not talk to each other? Or what about his friends or like coworker? Like, there's so many other people he could talk to. And if he was lonely in that sense, there's literally always Bumble BFF. He just chose the wrong Bumble. It was a confidence boost. No, like, no. In my eyes, if he's on Bumble, that's enough for me to just say he's cheating. Like, if my hope, knock on wood, I don't think this would ever happen. If I caught my boyfriend on Bumble and he was like, I was just a confidence boost, I don't care if he didn't swipe on a single person, that is cheating to me. So that's my thoughts on that. We'll read the top best of Redditor comment and then we'll hop into the next one. So they quoted, why is it my responsibility to rebuild trust by monitoring his phone like a psychotic person? Neither of us actually want a relationship that looks like that. And they just said, loved this. Yeah, that was my thought. Like, I told you guys how I felt about like the mental load and the responsibility and all of that. But yes, this man is the worst. The men are at it again. He has Audacity and there's no justification there. So sorry, buddy. Innocent till proven guilty. And you were proven guilty for sure. Me, 35 female, with my boyfriend, 41 male, of 3 years. Just found out that he has been secretly eating hot dogs because I unknowingly starve him. All right. Original post is from July 7th, 2016. I recognize that this sounds insane from the post title. My boyfriend and I have been together for almost 3 years. We have what I would describe as a pretty solid relationship. We have enough similar interests to enjoy activities together, but enough divergent ones that we also have full, complete lives outside of the relationship. We already spend almost every night together and plan to move in together when his lease is up in the fall. We work about 3 miles from each other and on some days carpool depending on schedules. Typically during the work week, I get up and make breakfast and pack our lunches. This has been ongoing since probably 6 months in. Usually for breakfast, I don't do anything crazy. Oatmeal, cereal, scrambled eggs, and toast. Normal breakfast stuff. For lunch, I pack sandwiches, chips or pretzels, some sort of fruit, and a couple of days a week, a sweet treat. I always make his portions larger than mine, and he's never complained before about any of it. Today we went to lunch and stopped at a nearby park. I was sitting across the picnic table from him when I noticed some yellow on his shirt and made a comment. "You have yellow on you." He looked over and scratched it away. There was a lot of it, and I mindlessly said, "Did you take a mustard bath before lunch?" And he just turned bright red. After some questions as to why he was embarrassed, the truth came out. I don't make him large enough meals, and almost every day for the past 2 or so years, he takes his 15-minute morning break and walks to a nearby convenience store where he purchases what can only be described as a second breakfast hot dog. I recognize this sounds ridiculous, but I'm so hurt and upset that he has been starving all this time and never wanted to say anything. Of course, now I am embarrassed because he thinks it is all the funniest thing to ever happen, but I'm really, really bothered that instead of sharing his discomfort with me like a normal person, he had a mid-morning hot dog for months on end. The conversation eventually ended up with both of us mad. Me for what I feel like is deception, him for what he feels like is me blowing this all out of proportion. Do I just ignore it, or is this indicative of a bigger problem? Edit. He is the one who said he was starving, not me. There's a whole lot of focus on that word choice, so I want to clarify. I appreciate everyone's thoughts. If you were nice enough to make breakfast, I think that he should be saying, like, yeah, it's not enough. But also, he's an adult, so, like, I don't know if there's anything wrong with him eating a hot dog when he's hungry later. Like, I don't like how he's like, well, you don't feed me enough. Okay, he never brought it up, and he never, like, yeah, he never said anything. And, like, this could be, like, lunch. I don't know. It's hard for me to understand that a grown man is blaming his girlfriend for why he isn't eating enough at breakfast. If he had said before, like, "Hey, I'm still kinda hungry after breakfast," or something, then I could see him being like, "Well, it's your fault," even though even then, like, what? The only thing, like, cause I worked at a spot where we had, like, when I worked in office, we had coffee and stuff, and, like, yeah, I would buy snacks or whatever, like, if I was hungry, and I never was like, "Wow, Josh should have fed me before I left," like, I don't know. So, it's hard for me to be like, why it's just hard for me to understand why him eating is anybody's responsibility but his own. But if you're willingly, like, making him breakfast every morning, I can understand why he should have told you. Like, there needs to be communication. If you're making breakfast anyway, yeah, because it's a waste of money. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I feel like I kind of rambled there, but I hope that made sense. Relevant comments. Why didn't the boyfriend say anything before? He usually avoids conflict until it's at his breaking point. I guess I don't want to push someone to a breaking point when I'm completely unaware, although I guess it's not that big of a deal to him. And holy shit, he needs to get his cholesterol checked. That's what I was thinking. Like, is it he's embarrassed to be eating that badly? Not that a hot dog is, like, bad in moderation, but a hot dog every single day is not great. And I'm wondering if he was, like, embarrassed because he feels like he's overweight or something. I don't know. Top comment, you weren't starving him. He's a grown man who, by all means, could have said at one point, hey, can you pack me another sandwich? He's a grown man who could also make his own lunches. You're taking responsibility for an issue that has nothing to do with you. The real issue is, why didn't he feel comfortable saying something about it to the point where he kept this a secret for so long? Okay, yes, they worded what I was thinking so succinctly. That's what I was trying to say. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Another comment says, I agree, he probably should have said something before now, but you also sound like you're blowing this way out of proportion. He honestly probably enjoyed his mid-morning break and thought of it as a treat rather than you starving him. I'm sure he could have snuck food from home, gone to the grocery himself, or any number of options if he truly didn't want a hot dog. Yeah, I agree that, like, this is kind of being blown out of proportion, but it's hard to know when you're just reading, like, the tone that they're using. Should it have been a big fight? Maybe it wasn't, and it was a fight, but it wasn't like a screaming match. It was just like a little tussle. Does that make sense? I don't know. Let's read the update from the next day. So I read everyone's comments and found most people thought I was overreacting, and a handful thought I was a psychotic B-word. By the end of the day, I was feeling pretty bad. Some points of clarification. It was not the consumption of hot dogs that bothered me. Just seemed really weird to me that this was a 2-year habit he never mentioned before. Like, 500 times this has happened and it never came up. He knows that I have a chai latte obsession. I don't tell him every time I go get one, but he's aware that I hit up the coffee shop, and sometimes he stops by for me. I would have reciprocated, is all. We are both detail-oriented people, so oftentimes we discuss every minute of our day. I don't care what he eats. I'm not trying to portion control anything or be his sole source of food. Most people seem to think I'm a control freak. I'm not. He initially was defensive about the secret hot dog parties and told me I was starving him. I got upset because I just wish I had known. I'm not a crazy person who would have been mad. I've just asked if he wanted more food or if he was fine with a mid-afternoon snack. I did not really ban hot dogs in my home due to a tragic dachshund accident. Come on now. Anyway, I don't guess much of that matters now because things are taking a turn for what I perceive to be the worst. Like I said, I was feeling like I've never heard that before, but I don't think I can say that on here. By the end of the day, so I stopped by the grocery store on my way home and bought him 3 cans of Vienna sausages, which I presented with a verbal apology to him before dinner. Before I get more mean messages about meat choices, I know Vienna sausages are not hot dogs. I just thought they were funnier. He laughed and we moved on. During dinner, which was not Vienna sausages in case you wondered, we were talking about everything and I mentioned the original post I made and he asked to see it. So he read it while I was cleaning up my kitchen, and when I got done and went into the living room, he was sitting there with tears in his eyes. I asked him what was wrong, and he took a deep breath and told me that he felt bad. So many people had told me I was off the deep end. I was really confused by this post, so I asked why he felt that way. Turns out the reason I didn't know about his daily hot dog is because he's been meeting an ex there to take his morning break together. I thought that. I thought, okay, why, like, he's keeping a secret. Yes, it's a small secret, but what else is he capable of? Because yes, it's a small secret, but he did it every single day for 2 years. Like, that then becomes a pretty large secret. It goes from being like a 15 minutes of his day once to 2 years of a 15-minute daily routine. So I'm not surprised. I didn't say it, but just so you know, I thought it. The girl is his college sweetheart who stayed in the city after school. They broke up years before we even met, so I only know her abstractly. He was always spoken fondly of her, and according to him, they just grew apart. However, it seems that she's a job working nearby the convenience store he frequents, and once they realized via Facebook, I know they were friends on there, it did not bother me. See, I'm not controlling. They were working in close proximity. They decided to meet up at the store. So they go there 4 or 5 days a week, get their snacks, and chat. Don't like that. This is one of those where it's like you're putting yourself in a situation to cheat. I was rooting for him too. He says it's just been talking. She's got a boyfriend. He says they don't really talk about their actual lives. They just shoot the breeze. 4 to 5 days a week. How much shooting the breeze is there? I asked him why he didn't tell me this before now, and he said he didn't think it was a big deal, but that he also didn't want me to ask him about it or be suspicious. But he didn't tell you about it yesterday. Like, the hot dogs really aren't a big deal. And if he said that, it sounds like he was more embarrassed about that than like the actual ex, but like he didn't mention this yesterday because he didn't think it was a big deal. That would have been the time. So why did he hide it even more? I don't know. I feel like having a secret ex-girlfriend meetings that happen to conclude a hot dog is a lot different from having secret hot dogs. No, you're not wrong. Especially like if it was once a week even, I'd be like, maybe. It's still weird though. But it's 4 to 5 days. Like, what could they possibly be talking about that's surface level that often? So I guess the update is that I'm still upset. Although I feel like now things are maybe more justified, I tried not to overreact, told him that this was all pretty effing weird and that he has hung out with an ex, briefly as it may be, daily for nearly 2 years without mentioning it. That's what I'm saying. He said he didn't have any intention of stopping his morning chats with the ex, so I needed to learn to deal with it. I don't know, I honestly just really feel sad and gross right now. Also, he left the Vienna sausages at my place. Okay, the fact that he said, I'm not stopping talking to her, so deal with it. That means he's putting her before you, and you gotta go. I was on board with this man. Like, I was not gonna be like, man, he sucks. But then he said that, and I'm like, no, throw him away. Throw him away. He has the audacity. He's not invited. He's not invited to the party. He's out. Get this guy out of here. This is breakup worthy in my opinion. Like, the way that he handled it. If it would have been like handled a little bit differently, maybe you could have come back from it. Maybe. A lot of communication. But the fact that he's like learned to deal with it, he didn't tell you twice. He didn't just not tell you what was happening. He didn't tell you yesterday. Like, this guy sucks. Relevant comments, top one, and he said he didn't think it was a big deal. I call BS here. I think it is quite the opposite. Anytime a person deliberately hides something like this from you, then the partner knows that they're not doing something right. There's more going on here than just eating a hot dog. That's what I'm thinking. Like, he'd lie about it not being anything more, right? That would seem like it's probable. Oh, he said, the more I think about it, the more I'm sure she's been the one eating hot dogs, if you know what I mean. After stewing all day, I'm done with it all. Ooh. Oh, someone else commented and said, additionally, he's been meeting up with her on the sly for 2/3 of your relationship. Yeah, oh, it seems like OOP is done. Based on the comments, they're done. So the top comment on Best Redditor updates is they don't even live together, but she feeds him breakfast and makes his lunch every day. That is like, I didn't catch where they didn't live together. That's insane. Most women would not do that. That is insane. Like, he is a grown man, by the way. By the way. I would understand if she was meal prepping already and was like, I'll just meal prep for the both of us. But going out of her way to make him breakfast and lunch every day is crazy. And the comment in response to that was made his breakfast and his lunch, and even that wasn't enough. Which is true. Like, the fact that some of the most beautiful, hardworking, talented, obviously we don't know behind closed doors, but like those types of women on the planet have been cheated on proves that it has nothing to do with how great of a person you are and everything to do with how bad of a person the person you're seeing is, you know? Anyway, yeah, he sucks. Both of these men so far have been Terrible, but there's hope for the next one. I, 21 female, slept with 2 people after my boyfriend, 23 male, opened our relationship, and now he wants to break up with me. The original post is from May 12th, 2026, a very recent. Sorry for the long post. I feel as though this is a very nuanced and unusual situation, and so I struggle to explain it briefly. So my boyfriend and I have been together throughout our times at university, coming up on 3 years now. He's my first relationship and my first body, whereas he has slept with a number of people before we got together. We've spoken before about wanting to have a future together and potentially kids once we both have a stable source of income. For the first time in years, we're spending a few months apart as he has a graduate job and I don't. I've been living in my family home and working in hospitality, so we haven't seen each other in a few weeks. Prior to this, our relationship was a little strained due to academic stress, and we were arguing for the first time ever. We also almost entirely stopped having spicy time for months, and the relationship felt like it was getting dry. I have a higher spicy drive than he does anyway, and so it was mostly me who was finding this difficult. We spoke about it, and he suggested we opened our relationship and allowed each other to see other people until we could move back in together when I found a job in the same city as him. He even implied that the idea of a threesome or watching me do the devil's tango with someone else would excite him. As much as this might seem strange to other people, I was quite excited he suggested this as I've never really had the opportunity to explore my sexuality. I was experiencing some anxiety about the fact that I've only ever been in a communal relationship, and I was worried I would one day regret not exploring more when I was younger. Despite this, I still love him a lot and know he's the one I eventually want to settle down with. Okay. I could see how that would work. Like, if there was enough communication, I could see how this would maybe work. I'm not a fan of open relationships, but I can understand, like, how this could work for them, potentially. Since we opened our relationship about a month ago, I've slept with 2 people, a girl and a boy. I met them both on dating apps, and I was very open about the fact I had a boyfriend and I just wanted to explore. Both people were very accepting of this. I enjoyed the experiences a lot, and I ended up spending a few nights with this girl in her apartment. It was mostly just because I find living at home very frustrating after having the freedom of living with my friends and boyfriend throughout uni, and my parents still treat me like a child. She and I only actually did the devil's tango a couple of times after drinking, and mostly when we would hang out, we just played Minecraft or went to the pub. It was more like a friends with benefits situation. I was very open about the fact I was staying at her place with my boyfriend, and she was totally okay with the fact I had a boyfriend. It's because she's a girl. I guarantee his issues with the guy, because he's also a guy and like get kind of territorial, whatever. Let's keep reading though. So anyway, my boyfriend has been planning to visit me this coming weekend, and I've been thinking about what he said that he would like to have a threesome. I asked this girl about it, and she said she would be down, so I brought it up to my boyfriend, and his reaction totally shocked me. He went absolutely nuts after finding out I had spicy time with this girl already and said he had no idea. Oh, so I stand corrected. Really? All right. Let's keep reading. He feels like he's been cheated on because I didn't explicitly tell him that I did this with the girl, and only that I've been staying at her place occasionally. I was sidelined. I assumed that he had also been seeing other people, as there have been a few nights where he has not replied to me in the evening or asked to call like he usually does. However, he is saying that when he spoke about opening our relationship, he meant only for threesomes and not for us to explore on my own. This surprised me as I got a completely different impression from our initial conversation, where we spoke about us both getting a chance to explore before we settled down and became adults. One of my friends from uni also sent me a screenshot of him on a dating app from a couple of weeks ago, which I told her I was completely fine with as we were both using them. He says now he only had the app to look for a third, not for him to do his own thing. Ew, no, he's just upset. Guys, it's a tale as old as time. He's upset he's not getting any. He's on dating apps, and people hate swiping right. Or left, whichever way is the good way. Okay, we're gonna keep reading. Oh my, sorry, I read the next sentence. Now he's saying that he isn't sure if he can look past me cheating on him, and then he needs some time to think about whether or not he wants to be with me. This is one of those situations where I don't think that this is a reason to break up, but it's cheating because, like, I genuinely think that this was a misunderstanding. Or he meant it, and then he's not getting any on his own, and so now he's, like, gaslighting. That's what it's giving. I don't think that you cheated. This is insane. He just doesn't want to accept any responsibility. I'm completely devastated. I've deleted the apps from my phone and blocked the 2 people I slept with no explanation. Although I did want to explore, I've always been certain that he's the man for me. We get on so well, and he's dependable, caring, driven, everything I could ever want in a partner. My friends and family love him, and we also share most of the same friends, so our lives are intertwined. We've even decided on our kids' names and the street we want to live on one day. I've tried to explain to him that this was just a lack of communication and that I never wanted to hurt him. I've never even looked at another person until we agreed to open the relationship. But he's just saying this changes the way he thinks about me entirely. He's barely spoken to me since finding out and pretty much ignored my apologies. How do I earn his trust back? Yeah, I feel like this is a classic case of he's saying that he can't trust you, but I think the issue is he realized that you're a catch. And I don't necessarily think that he's not. I do think it's harder for guys to get matches on dating apps because girls tend to be way pickier than guys. But I think that it's definitely a blow to his ego. And now he thinks like, oh, she can get whoever and like I can't and whatever. Like I can't. Yeah, his ego's bruised and he's blaming you and coming up with all kinds of excuses when he did it to himself. Top comment. Classic. He wanted to open the relationship because he thought he'd get to sleep with other people. Now he's mad and trying to punish because you had success on the apps and he didn't. You didn't misunderstand. He's lying because he played himself and wants to make it your fault. Exactly. Commenter 2 said, for real, this happens so much, it's practically a cliche. The man wants to open the relationship to get some side action. Inevitably, it's way easier for the partnered woman to find others, and the man gets pissed off about her success and wants to shut things down. OP, this isn't for you to fix. Your boyfriend needs to own his actions rather than punishing you for them. Until he does that, I wouldn't be trying to beg for his forgiveness. His behavior is juvenile and a red flag. The only comment for you is to don't block the people you slept with without communicating. That's what I was thinking. That isn't cool. They deserve respect, and you shouldn't try an open relationship if you're going to treat others poorly. We can simply say that you are taking a step back to focus on your primary relationship, won't be reaching out again, and prefer not to be contacted. But blocking without saying anything is not cool. OOP said, after receiving a few comments saying to unblock the girl, I definitely will be. She was really great, and I think we have a friendship, if nothing else now. I just did it out of blind panic because I wanted to salvage my relationship. One thing I will note that I thought of when they first said open relationship is she's 21 and he's 23. Does that mean that open relationships never work for young people? No. I think that they work a lot of the time because you are young and you're not really like settled down yet. So you can kind of explore before you settle down. However, when you're that young, you're inevitably not as mature. So you don't communicate as well. Things are a little bit more toxic. And so when I saw that, I was like, ooh, this will be interesting because this could go one of two ways. There is an update from the next day. Thank you for the helpful comments. I didn't expect this post to get so much attention, and I don't normally use Reddit, so I'm not sure if this is the correct way to do an update. So he finally called me after he finished work last night for us to talk. I apologized again for the miscommunication and said that I didn't feel we had a detailed enough conversation to establish boundaries and to define what an open relationship means to us. He agreed, but didn't apologize for his role in that. He then said that he was mostly hurt because I seem to have developed an emotional connection with this girl, which I can understand, and I apologized for again. Then he asked me if I felt like I was happy in our relationship. And to my surprise, I told him I wasn't. He said he wasn't either, and so we decided to break up. I haven't even had a text from him this morning, and I haven't tried to reach out either. I do feel hurt and a bit lost, but after the last few days of crashing out, I also feel a huge sense of relief. As well as reading all the comments under this post, I also spoke to a couple of my friends and came to the conclusion that if the two of us were truly happy together, we wouldn't have felt the need to open a relationship in the first place. I agree with that. I'm going to give it some time to heal, but now when I am ready, I am free to be a young adult without the pressure of a big future looming over me. It has also opened up new job opportunities as I don't have to just look in the same city as him so we can move in together. I know a lot of people are calling him a POS and a gaslighting liar, but I'm still very fond of him, and so I don't really care at the moment to argue with him and question his side of the story. Whether he changed the terms of our open relationship or did end up sleeping around and didn't want me to know. Maybe at some point I will bring him up on this, but I think the most important thing is for us both to try and move forwards. As for the Minecraft girl, I sent her a text saying I'll give her a call at some point soon to explain, and she said that was totally okay and to take my time. So hopefully I at least made a friend and something good has come of this. Thank you again, everyone, for the help and support. So the top comment from Best of Redditor is, I know I'm getting old when I hear her say he was my first body. WTF, is that normal to say? And yeah, that is normal. That means, first person that I slept with. My body count, so to speak, if you are older. So do I think this guy is too far gone? I think it's too soon to say. Like, he's only 23, and I think that he acted from an immature place. Because of that, I'm not quite going to just send him to the dungeons, But for now, I think his punishment is gonna be a bombastic side eye and watching him very closely. Obviously not really, I don't know who this man is, but, like, you're getting a suspicious stare and, like, "You're on the radar, buddy. We're watching you," as in all of us collectively. But yeah, I think that that is all I'm going to read today. If you like when I do these like men stories, you seem to because they perform way better than any of my other ones. But let me know if you want me to like make these like a standing thing. They are all for jokes. I cannot stress that enough. Nothing on this channel, for the most part, is like serious. It's a lot of silly, goofy. I will tell you if it's serious. Obviously, if we're talking about heavier topics, yeah, it's gonna be serious. But if I'm making fun of like men, be for real, bestie. We're all jokes over here, so don't get your knickers in a twist. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I upload every single Sunday and Wednesday. If you want to join, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, hype, comment, all that fun stuff. And I'll catch you on the next one. Have a great rest of your weekend, bestie. And if you have a 3-day weekend like me, get some sleep, chill, hang out, and get ready for, summer. Take the time you need to rest because we're all a little burnt out over here in the US of A. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Bye, guys. Love you.